They are vampires, but not as you know it. It isn't by accident we think of a blood-sucking Dracula or Nosferatu, or more modern renditions like Blade or Twilight when the word vampire is mentioned. They can only prowl at night, well, apart from the Daywalker concept in Blade, of course, an aversion to garlic, holy water, etc. The origin of a vampire-type entity seems to go all the way back to an ancient Egyptian god called Sekhmet. Having such an extreme lust for blood, after almost wiping out all of humanity, she was then tricked by Ra using blood-coloured alcohol to lure her in. After getting drunk, she stood down and peacefully left humans alone. How that one hasn't been made into a movie, I don't know, but seems to qualify as a vampire by the original standard. But what if a vampire is a good description for them? Only they steal and drain your energy instead of blood, and in some cases may actually have a requirement for blood, talked about more in my article, More Like Us Than We Would Like. I used to refer to people as social vampires when coming home from being out during my sociable years, and rather than feeling energised and like you had had a good time, it was the opposite. And after narrowing it down, realised it was certain people who would contribute to that feeling, and others that did the opposite. But on a bigger scale, if you realise your energy is being taken from you by people using various methods, two things should be considered. 1. Where does the energy go and what for? 2. Who or what needs it? Another thing that started to make me think of the real concept of vampire is the incessant need for people to volunteer for things that appear to give away your freedom or soul. You must consent. You must be a volunteer, rather than a victim. They need you to invite them in. I'm not sure why, but it seems to be a theme that you have to sell your soul willingly. It can't just be taken. Is that why we have a saying, selling your soul? Because it does indeed represent something quite real and tangible. Perhaps. So much that was once foolish to consider now seems almost perilous not to. There is so much at stake here, no pun intended, we can't afford to not cover all bases, and maybe their new digital ID travel method they would like to roll out, which requires a drop of your blood for screening, has other purposes. As if they are looking for something, and testing the DNA of everyone hasn't yielded the results they were after, so they have to find another way to monitor and find what they want. That shall remain to be seen. I will continue to think through what may seem ridiculous and far-fetched, pulling together ideas, plot lines and theories and putting them out there. But it should be clear to many that we are in danger, individually and as a group, and should have our wits about us and senses on alert. Who knows what is really going on and coming up, but it can't hurt to consider it all.